The Explainer series. What happens when a councillor resigns and they have to be replaced? How's that done? I'm going to do some little explainer videos on technical issues to supplement what we do with Marie on the podcast. So this is more the policy and legislative background to issues. So one at the moment that's getting quite a bit of attention is what happens when somebody leaves council and leaves a vacancy, and how is that then filled? So when our councillor leaves early through resignation, death, disqualification, that's called a casual vacancy. How it gets filled depends entirely on one thing, timing. So the logic, why a countback works the way it does. So New South Wales council elections use proportional representation. Multiple councillors are elected per ward or per council if there are no wards, and each candidate needs a share of the vote, a quota, to win a seat. Parties run tickets and preferences flow down the ticket. So if the top candidate polls well beyond a quota, that surplus flows down to their running mates, who can then be elected on a small personal vote of their own. A countback exploits the same math when a seat later falls vacant. It's not a new election. No one casts a fresh vote. It's a recount of the original ballots from the last ordinary election with the departing councillor removed to see whose 2024 preferences would elect instead. If the seat that's vacant was itself created by a large surplus, the recount can reach further down the same ticket, pulling in somebody who might have polled only a few dozen personal votes on election day. For example, I think we've got one in the Shoalhaven that's around 20, and we've got another one that's just below 100 and another one just above 100. So the 18-month rule, what happens depends on when the vacancy lands. So the Local Government Act splits a 4-year term into 3 zones, and the same law produces 3 completely different outcomes. So the first 18 months after the election, council can resolve at its very first meeting to fill any vacancy in that window by countback. Cost roughly $10,000 to $50,000 per countback. No new candidates called, no new votes, just a simple recount. And we've had 3 of those. So between $30,000 and $150,000 that's cost us by having 3 councillors resign. The middle period, so that's more than 18 months after the election and more than 18 months before the next election, neither a countback nor sitting one councillor down is allowed. The law requires full attendance by election. Cost of that is roughly $200,000 to $250,000. And then in the final 18 months before the next election, council can simply operate 1 member down until voters go to the polls anyway. Cost 0. So in a countback, nobody votes. It's a recalculation of ballots already in the box. In a by-election, it depends on the council structure. If the council is divided into wards, like we are here in the Shoalhaven, only electors in that specific ward vote to fill the vacancy. If the council is undivided, no wards, so for example Kiama, every enrolled elector across the whole local government area votes for the single seat. So the bottom line for you listeners is 2 councils can apply the exact same section of the same act and land on opposite outcomes purely because of when a resignation happens to fall. One paying under $10,000 for a recount, nobody voted in, another finding $250,000 if it was never budgeted for. So this information draws on the Local Government Act for those who are really keen, the Local Government Act 1993, Section 291A, countback, and Section 294, dispensing with by-election in the final 18 months. That's how countbacks work, and I'll put the links to the Local Government Act so you can have a look at the sections for yourself. So there's the simple explainer. I hope it was simple enough. That's how it works. Till next time.